is to enable the by the COVID-19 Dr. Akin re-election bid as president of the African Development Bank (AFDB). With all other leaders and stakeholders of Abia State had urged the court.
Story never dies. It just takes.
There's no water in the house. The toilet.
New angles and fresh perspectives to stories.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
To register their displeasure.
I have a mother, I have aunties, I have nieces, and I can count at least 10 different ladies here who are my friends who I've known for 3-4 years. My heart would break if tomorrow I found out that any of them was raped and the law did nothing.
Violence should not be allowed in Edo State.
How has the police followed up on this matter? Elder Moswa had accused Oremeni Divisional Police Station of inaction made in connection
the matter to fish out the perpetrators and bring them to justice. He made the declaration in a tweet on his personal handle on Tuesday evening. Elsewhere, Edo State Governor Gordon Obaseki has mourned reggae music icon Majek Fashek, who died on Tuesday at the age of 57. The news of Fashek's death was shared on Tuesday morning by his manager, Omenka Uzoma. Obaseki described Fashek as a maverick musician who took the world by storm with his enigmatic talent. Born in Benin, Edo State's capital, with real names Majekodumi Fasheke, the icon was known for hits such as Send Down the Rain, So Long, Too Long, and many others. He died in New York City after a protracted battle with cancer. He had earlier been hospitalized at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in London in November 2019. Coming up in a moment on business news, Naira falls after federal government announces airlines reopening. Do stay with us.
Beautiful one, I call on you today.
Bless you.
This not the time of bless you. This season where we say coronavirus, so they trace for the world there. Now time to use tissue paper or handkerchief. Take cover your mouth or nose when you dey cough or sneeze. This is not time to always wash your hand. Use hand sanitizer where contain better alcohol. This is not time to give ears, as in avoid me, give me space to any person where they cough or sneeze. This is not time to protect yourself or neighbors from sickness. So if you notice anything, sharp, carry yourself or the person go hospital or call this number free of charge. You're not going to collect money for your hand. That is toll-free number for 080 00 26 7662. 080 00 26 7662. You first to bring this other number for 080 09 70 00010. Remember, say life now says coronavirus not the show for face, so and person with their life and carry first to this message from KUFM 2.7. Beautiful one, we call on you today. Come feel this place today. Let your presence dwell amongst us. Oh, short divine.
Welcome back. You're still on the news dawn on 92.7 KUFM Benin City, and on business news this morning, Nigeria's currency on Tuesday depreciated at the black market by 4 naira. Orlando has more in our business bulletin.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 600 billion, and the last kobo. Oh yes, we follow the money. It's all about the business and the business of business, the gains and the losses, the bulls and bears, the rise and falls, the risk and the satisfaction of seeing the last kobo rise to millions. On KUFM's Business News, the simple and complex jargons of business just make sense. Get the trending news on the morning market, forecast, investment opportunities, policy changes, and other breakout information on the ever-busy world of business. KU Business News, Monday to Friday on our news dawn, 6:30 to 7 a.m.
Good morning. Nigeria's currency on Tuesday depreciated at the black market by 4 naira as the dollar was trading at 443 naira compared with 441 naira traded on Monday. The depreciation follows the announcement by the federal government on Monday that airlines would resume operation on June 21st. Investigation shows that traders have lost confidence in the ability of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to sell dollar to Bureau de Change Operators, BDCs. CBN said on April 29, 2020 that it has made complete arrangements to resume foreign exchange sales to the BDC segment of the market for business travels, personal travels, and other designated retail users as soon as international flights resumed. At the investors and exporters I&E Forex window, the foreign exchange market opened on Tuesday with an indicative rate of 386 naira 38 kobo per dollar. This represents marginal depreciation of 0 naira 13 kobo when compared with 386 naira 25 kobo opened with on Monday. Naira gained 0 naira 83 kobo as the dollar was quoted at 385 naira 50 kobo on Monday from 386 naira 33 kobo quoted on Friday at the I&E window. And finally, on business, Nigeria's stock market recorded another positive trading session on Tuesday as investors raised bets in the value stocks like Dangote Cement PLC, GT Bank PLC, and MTN Nigeria PLC. Cumulatively, investors gained about 48 billion naira, while the benchmark performance indicator, the Nigeria Stock Exchange NSE, All Share Index ASI increased by 0.27%. This week alone, the market has advanced by 0.46%. The market's year-to-date negative return stands at minus 5.43%. The NSE ASI increased to 25,383.43 points from 25,360,141 naira, adding 2 naira or 1.44%, while GT Bank increased from 24 naira 55 kobo to 22 naira 1 kobo, up by 55 kobo or 2.24%. Likewise, MT06-263-9275. I just guess that like my, ardent listener and fan of the show would already have these numbers saved on their phones. But for the new time, our first time listener, here are the numbers to call: 0706-263-9275, 0903-939-4427, and 0812-178-9154. Those are the numbers that you can call to participate. Remember, the participation is just limited to kids between the age of 5 to 10 years and also between the classes of Basic 3 to JSS 1. Those are the only ones that are allowed to call into the show, answer questions, and participate. The others below and above, you just need to stay back, listen, and enjoy the show. So, I'm sure we are ready for today's show. Like we do it every day, we listen to stories, and I open the phone lines to allow you call into the show and get to answer questions. Yeah? Yes. Okay, so if you're listening for the first time, my rules and regulations still stand, which are: rule number 1, do please turn down the volume on your radio set when you call me, or just walk away from it, okay? Rule number 2, don't hesitate to give me the answer to the question, meaning do not waste time. And rule number 3, do not allow anyone choose questions for you. Yeah, because this is not a spelling thing, so rather. Do not allow anyone choose for you. Choose, and do not allow anybody tell you the answer. All you just have to do is pay good attention, get all the details that you should get, and by that way, I think you've equipped yourself properly to answer the questions. And rule number 4, let's just have fun. So kids, let's go listen to today's story.
Infobells!
The Ugly Tree. In a dense forest, there stood a big tree. He was not like any other tree. He had crooked branches, pale dirty leaves, and a disfigured trunk. The other trees around him looked tall and elegant, while he was much shorter than most of them. The tree was never happy with himself. He even envied the other beautiful trees around him.
Look at me!
Whined the tree.
How ugly I am! How crooked my stem!
And this one says, Delta government raises alarm over coronavirus patient. Governor Uzodimma inaugurates investigative panel on collapsed building. Anambra has 8 active COVID-19 cases. Governor Obiano. This one says, alleged falsehood. Court strikes out suits against Dino Melaye. And, okay. Security FCT begins implementation of state community policing. And new police commissioner assumes office in Gombe. All right, police arrests 69 suspected kidnappers and robbers in Adamawa, and more terrorists surrender. Others arrested in Northeast DHQ. Kaduna says markets, places of worship yet to reopen. Zamfara Assembly donates 5 million naira food items to family of deceased colleague. I'll take that again. Zamfara Assembly donates 5 million naira items to family of deceased colleague. And COVID-19, Katsina government relaxes lockdown. And that's it from the Premium Times newspaper this morning.
All right, and now to Punch newspaper this morning. And risk managers demand improved capacity to fight COVID-19. Equatorial Guinea accuses World Health Organization 3 other airports for reopening of churches and mosques. Senate test confirms Dankaka's appointment as chairman. It is safer to worship at home. Federal government. Man arrested for bringing bombs to U.S. riots. Uniben undergraduate. Buhari orders police to speed up investigation. Leon signs Toko and Kambi on permanent deal. That's in sports, by the way. And that's it from the Punch newspaper this morning. Quite short though. And then moving against Israeli Prime Minister. Police nab 4 suspected cycle thieves in Anambra. Lagos to build more general hospitals. Hamzat. COVID-19. Oyo yet to relax ban on religious activities and curfew. Tax force. COVID-19 patients escapes in Delta, says Commissioner. Buhari to additional. Nigeria will stand strongly behind you. Adamawa. Police kill youth because of 100 naira. On performance, I am vindicated.
Divest from insurance subsidiary sales firm to Sanlam. The Pantami versus Dabiri debate.
Long retired, of course, these days lives in the United States and Jordan, and of course he's got children who have taken after him, especially one of his daughters also plays basketball and has done excellently well. So we're celebrating our own Akim the Dream Olajuwon. Despite everything that is going on in the United States right now, you can see from what we are watching on international TV, the violent protest that has erupted following the death of George Floyd. And so many things are happening. Lewis Hamilton, the second time he's spoken this week against what happened, and he blamed he criticized Formula One for not speaking out. He said it's a white-dominated sport and none of them is speaking out. So he's one of the very few people of color in Formula One, and well, he has dominated. He is the world champion, 6-time world champion, in fact, just one behind Michael Schumacher. So we hope that he gets that title. He says, look, that it has been a dark week for him, and he's really, really angry at what is going on. And sports stars from all over the world of different races, we've got to stress that both whites, blacks, colored, everybody is coming out to condemn what happened. We saw Liverpool take the knee round the center circle. Chelsea got a bit more creative yesterday. They formed H, a huge symbol of the H alphabet, and they said that H represents humanity. And Newcastle United, different clubs also coming out to support the protest that is going on right now in the United States of America. And some players are saying that they do not feel safe playing in America right now, and others are saying, look, their grandfathers even sent them text messages to say, I'm happy that you are not in America at the moment. But back home, Samson Siasa has revealed that appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport will be heard on the 6th of October. We'll be looking into that shortly. And for Samuel Chukwueze, well, he's one of the most in-demand players in the world right now. He has been ranked of his awesome speed of 34.58 kilometers per hour. So these are some of the stories that we'll be looking at on Sports Fiesta this morning. Welcome to the show. My name is Saliu Ibrahim. They call me Sports Broker, Eagle star and manager. You know, right now he is under a life ban, so he cannot have anything to do. Months ago, banned.
He's still claiming that he's innocent. I'll just say, notwithstanding, so long as special support from the GoFundMe account. Let's just hope that everybody and all that. Then I think at the end of the day, we'll look at the way they've gone about all this.
Not come to defend himself. They've been accused of something. He didn't come. So if find Nigeria for the 2010 and they sent him a message saying, come and defend the Court of Arbitration for Sport. He did not show up. Sent a list containing meldonium is one of the drugs like for an element that she was suffering from. She wasn't taking performance enhancing, but still was that it was hidden the list of banned drugs, meldonium, and that the Court of Arbitration meldonium is banned. It is, and they call you several times. Yeah, so later you say, oh, they did not give me opportunity. They did not call me. The bar was switched off. It may not be your fault that attenuating. It is not the fault of you. Cannot go back to blame. You are always have access to the internet. You should always even if at the end of the day, things have different. It's been long and now that
countries in this world. The problem about it is that it can be symptomatic, and therefore you will not know those who have it. Even those who have symptoms, screening centers. This screening center that will help us. My institution is collaborating very strongly with them. Definitely on the level MBA champion, but I came on that title. I'm going to get it back. And the guy was like, wow, this is the first time. That's to a white guy, and they were like, no, they wanted to collected the supervisors. They were just doing that. I said, no, that's not how to do it. They told him not to put his hand inside his pocket. I said, you cannot do anything. I'm not offending anybody. So why to see my protesters to arrest them and white man from being harassed? They took the knee and they say they support. I have seen videos of policemen coming out to let them know her who says he doesn't feel safe. Just remain yourself, even when you're in public, to use pepper spray or what they call it. They cannot even hurt a protest with a social state.
Now from the screening, now your headquarters will know whether to test you for coronavirus.
People who are even non-edu than are changing. We also hope that things will change in Nigeria because let's just listen to this message. This is from players of Rivers Angels, one of the teams, in fact, one of the most successful teams in the Nigerian Women Football League. This is the message from them concerning the rape and murder of Uwa here in Benin City, and also what happened in Lagos, and all the serious crime against women in the society.
Let's stop raping women. Let's protect our girl child. It might need 5 minutes to you, but a whole lifetime to happen.
I'm here to condemn the act of rape and police brutality in Nigeria. Police are supposed to save us and not to kill us. And men, you're the king, and you're here to save us and not to rape us. Stop raping us and protect the girl child.
I am here to condemn the act of rape in Nigeria and police brutality. I want justice for Owa.
Ìwà ìfipábánilòpọ̀ ó ṣe ìwà gidi rárá. Ọkùnrin máa bá obìnrin ní àjọṣepọ̀. A máa ní nǹkan tí ò dé ní máa bá ọmọ obìnrin yẹn sùn. Wọ́n ṣe ìwà gidi. Àwọn míì nínú church, àwọn míì lójú títì, ìmí ní club, why? Ẹ máa bá wa sọ, bá wa sùn. Kò dá kó ṣe ìwà gidi. Àwa ẹ̀dẹ̀ ló ti sú wa. Gbogbo obìnrin àti pẹ̀lú pọ̀ àti pọ̀wọ́pọ̀ àti pẹ̀lú àfẹ́. Tó àfẹ́ náà nìyẹn. Àwọn òṣìbá tẹ́kọ̀ tún máa ṣàánú fún wa. Àwọn ọ̀nà wa tún máa pààyàn. Àfẹ́ kí Ọlọ́run jọ kó bá wa dáwọ́ ibi dúró. Ó lè bá wa wọ àwọn ọkùnrin wa lọ́kàn. Ó bá wa fún wọn nígbà yìí. Àfẹ́.
We the players of Rivers Angels. We are condemning the act of rape in Nigeria. Stop raping women. Protect the girl child.
All right, that's the players of Rivers Angels. Their forward, you heard her voice at the beginning, Marian Eze Nagu, and they have a very strong message: stop rape, stop all the harassment of women. And of course, our hearts are heavy with what happens to Owaila here in Benin City, and we hope that the authorities will get to the bottom of this. The governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki. His wife, Betsy Obaseki, was even there. She paid a condolence visit to the family yesterday. President Muhammadu Buhari himself has also expressed his condolence to the family. It was discussed in the National Assembly, so we hope that they will get the perpetrators of this dastardly act. A girl, young girl, raped and murdered in church where she went to read. And I've had all sort of, I don't know. Some say they are just joking. There are certain things that you do not joke with. I've had people say, what did she go to do in church? Is the church a library? Why would she go and read it? What is your business where she goes to read?
She needed to read in a place that is so,
and people are saying
so quiet.
Is any time of the day supposed to be unsafe for the girl? But this was even during the day that she went there. Her mother knew where she went to. It wasn't like she went even if she goes anywhere, rape is bad no matter where it happens. But it is more blood curdling. It is more, I don't know, when you do that in church, people have no fear of God. Nothing is sacred anymore. I mean, it's just horrible. So despite everything, we know that God will do his own and punish these people. But we want to see them apprehended here in Nigeria. We want to see it, and we are going to keep tabs on that and ensure that justice is done, so that the perpetrators of this act will know that it is not acceptable here in this country for you to do anything. And of course, unfortunately, it seems that rape has been treated with levity, and you hear things like, "Nah, she be the first person when they go rape." What nonsense! What nonsense! Some days ago we were discussing what happened in Haiti, that FIFA banned the president of the Haitian Football Federation for 6 months. For 3 months, for 3 months, 90 days, while they investigate the allegations that he has been not raping, but it is rape. It is rape. It's rape in that case. Because ordinarily the girls would not have succumbed. This man is 73. We are talking about people that are teenagers. Teenager, for those who do not know, is from 13 to 19 years. So the people that he was accused of sleeping with or forcing them to sleep with him because he threatened that if they do not agree, they play for the national team. They are between 13 and 19. The youngest was 13. The oldest was 19. That's the age we are talking about. We are not talking about girls that are 20-something or 30-something. Even if the woman is 40-something or 50-something. So long as it is not consensual, it is wrong. It's unacceptable. You cannot use your position to demand for something like that. We're saying here that our girls here in Nigeria, if it is happening anywhere, they should report. Just Rivers Angels is a female team. So we do not know whether it is happening there. So what I was saying that day was that just like what they did now, they should come out and report if something like that is happening. And some people called and were saying, here in Nigeria, if you report, nothing will happen. And look, we should. It is unfortunately sometimes talk like that, an attitude like that makes the perpetrators of this act to continue because they feel like this is Nigeria. And I hate that thing when people say, this is Nigeria now. You know how we do this. It is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Let us change our mindset. Let us change the way things are done. And I'm glad that Rivers Angels have done this. I hope that Edo Queens will do their. Edo Queens, please, we want to see your own. In fact, you should have come before that of Rivers Angels. Because this thing happened right here. Let us also protest. Let us demand for justice. Let it be clear to everybody that this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. You hear things like the girls have the way they dress. It's none of your business. Look elsewhere. I think the Bible says
13 have been lost so far from the virus. The new case figures announced by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) on Tuesday said the country recorded 241 new cases of the novel coronavirus. And according to the health agency, Lagos reported the highest number with 142 new cases, followed by Oyo with 15 and the FCT with 13. Other states with new cases include Kano with 12, Delta 10, Kaduna Rivers with 9, Borno 8, Jigawa 4, Gombe and Plateau each with 3, and Osho and Bauchi each with 1. While the number of deaths rose to 314, The number of discharged cases also grew to 3,239. Meanwhile, the total number of infection in the country now stands at 10,819. The Senate on Tuesday approved President Muhammadu Buhari's $5.5 billion external loan request to finance the revised 2020 budget. The approval followed the presentation and consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debt, chaired by Senator Clifford Odia, Edo Central. Buhari has in his letter of request said the $5.513 billion external loan is to enable the federal under the 2020 revised budget. And meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria will stand...
Throw more light on that.
Okay, collecting evidence required to prove rape usually falls on the doctor. It's within the doctor's purview. But usually, to gather adequate evidence, the victim has to come to the doctor early. We have what we call a rape kit that we would use to gather evidence, and this evidence is gathered all the way straight from the history, the story. We create a conducive environment, non-judgmental environment where the victim can tell us their story. We record the sequence of events, and then we do a physical examination. During the physical examination, we now take samples, samples of semen, fingernail scrapings, and things like that could act as forensic evidence. We even take pictures, with the patient's consent, of course. We have to take pictures that show bruises, injuries. Sometimes they could even have fractures. Pictures of even the orifice that was penetrated. You could see bruises, you could see there could be bleeding and all that.
All right, before we come down to how this rape kit works, now there's a part of your statement that says you come to the doctor early for us to, take your samples. Now, there's been these questions of some rape apologists saying they raped you 3 years ago, and now because this person is speaking up, you decided to speak up. We understand the psychological effect of rape on victims, yeah? And now, for example, I'll use myself as an example. Let's say I was raped. Let's say my father rapes me. Is a con speak up because you said early.
The chronicle, your bottles to take your samples. You can get filter paper to get the scraping. So yes, rape kits consist.
Was raped.
Well, grown man. She was rushed to the hospital bleeding. She was torn. We had to do emergency surgery. Pursuing the case
to somebody who is a victim.
It's sex that perpetrated the act on them. So they are, for instance,
political issues that you may wish to share your.
Explain a lot of things. We're talking about rape and all of that. Doctors or medical
from surgery. So those kind of physical injuries are first of all for HIV. It's time frame. It's important that the person comes with. Let people know you've been raped. Come to the hospital. We are not the judge.
Nancy, let's assume someone is a victim. The person got pregnant. Maybe the person did not report years ago. That child, would that child not be a victim?
Yes. It's possible a pregnant woman who don't even know she was pregnant. Treatment that covers all sexually confused. So you have to come on, talk
that expression.
Non-judgmental. Yeah, that's yes, penetration. Maybe you've not
sample. So yes, advocates go into the community. We try to educate. Okay, this number is the medical women in Nigeria, Edo State branch hotline for sexual violence.
We've had situations of gang rape. Come out, let's say, in the middle of the day when everybody has gone to work, and maybe mentally, psychologically affecting the person who saw.
Yeah, it can. Okay, first.
I mean, the mental system.
The fluids to, the temple.
Because now, you could say.
Submission. Hello, good morning.
We find communicate with them. We should go back and start teaching moral ethics. It's not to go back to it. That young girl now. So the other belongs to take the food and thank God that the police are working. I can't appreciate the effort they have made to.
You're welcome, Valentine. Please go ahead. We can hear you.
We're listening. I do want to send us a text.
I just when you were about to ask a question. Okay. Ibrahim 9275 or 0903 939.
Okay, do have to send us messages, okay? It's obvious and your location we will definitely take your
died following a rape event. If important, I think yes, it can, still can. And then examining the area, the orifice that was penetrated.
Where the huge millions of naira the federal government votes for sector in every budget. Again, what have our doctors done to save the poor girl's life? Okay?
But life is not entirely
procurement of forensic machines for them to
machines.
Yes. Is that a thing?
I know there are medical doctors in the police force trying to developing the forensic investigation aspect.
Okay.
And we're still improving in that area. You see, it's a whole, and it's been worked on.
Okay. This one says some rape urge is not for pleasure alone. They do it for some diabolical sacrifice acts. This issue does not need to be taken like evil and against the will of God. Big J. All right, thank you. Everybody condemns it. It is evil, actually. Good morning from Abida. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is. You know, your case files are evidence. Even sometimes those rape cases take time.
Yeah. I'm Tega from Sapele, Delta State. Sorry to the family of the rape victim and urge the police to do more in this investigation. And this one says, good morning. May God bless you guys. My question to the doctor: how long will the DNA test results take before coming out? And this is coming from Charity.
As possible. That's the message.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Association of Nigeria, Edo State Branch.
So others will introduce a written, voicable, factual, straight to the point, and conversation going. In dialogue.
Case figures announced by the Nigerian Center of Coronavirus. According to the health agency, Lagos reported the highest number with 1 control. Buhari, as in his letter of request, said the $5.3 billion external. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria will stand solidly. He wrote to all African leaders recommending him for the position. The 8 hours. The monitors are currently being called 3 months stipend. This was disclosed by the Honorable Minister of Government Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Study and Fund. And some judiciary matters, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos, has that group. President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with the family of Waila Omozua and ensured the corporate are brought to justice and set official perpetrators and bring them to justice on Tuesday evening. Give music icon Magic Fashek, who died on Tuesday at the age of 57. Don't forget to listen to us anywhere in the world, either by visiting our website at www.kufm.net. You can download our app from the Google Play Store. Remember? All I'm just saying thanks for listening. And good morning.
my life being a color.
Nigeria across the village. Reach it to normal by 707-367-3.
just way too much. So we need to, reduce the tension, calm everybody's nerves. Why 2020 is not some people's year. 2020 is some people's year. So mine is about, I got a book as a gift and PDF format. No, it's not. Found love. Very protect. What are you doing here, Charles? You have been going places. Why are you doing that as if you don't understand the context? Your knowledge is half it. But really, there's something of content. This woman. How does it sound to you?
It sounds specific.
In this, there's something of Before that, I was here, Beyonce, and I Want to Dance with Somebody, Whitney Houston, played right here on the radio. How you doing, Benin City? And welcome you to the radio. My name is Omoye, and today is a Wednesday. Explain why all of those tunes are playing for you. Plus, today's playlist is specially curated because we are angry. I am angry. I'm angry. And I have Soba Blessed with me. Esther and Ilana will be joining me very soon. I'm Blessed. How you doing?
I'm all right. Good afternoon.
Okay. That's a one. Soba, how you doing?
I'm good. Could be better though, but good.
Can you? Am I speaking everybody's mind when I say we are?
Oh yes, definitely speaking for everyone. Yes. Definitely.
How many of us have actually been on social media since the start of the week? No, since last week.
Do you know, on several occasions, I've been tempted to just throw my phone at the wall. I mean, shut it all down. Just stay away from it. It's too much bad news. The hate, the pain you feel, the chill I feel when I scroll through, especially Twitter, and through on Facebook.
Okay, so I joined the Blackout Tuesday. But I did not.
Let's talk about this. Let's find a solution. Let's put an end to this madness. Come up, your mind. Say, express your heart. Let's hear you. Let's know how we can handle this thing from this angle. And that is why people are beginning to come. And you check. You realize that stories that have come out even more now are stories that have happened over 4, 5, 10 years ago. So now there's a bit of exposure and acceptance for people who have gone through this problem.
Now, before we start talking about what can be done, let's talk about why it happens. Now, I have said maybe because, not maybe, actually because one of the things that we have chosen to normalize are things that are actually not normal.
Exactly.
Things as tapping currents, things as catcalling. They're even fancy. In some environments where these things happen, the fancy names, they give it fancy names, and this is just BS, but you give it fancy names, and because it has been normal. But I want to ask a really simple question. We are talking about is there anything that can be said to the girl child herself as to can we do anything by ourselves to help the situation aside from about it, reporting it, making sure that you are, very vocal about what is happening? Can we do anything to get security, to take back our control?
At my head.
You think that person is abroad and where they dress short?
Growing up, we grew up in a society where back then every child is your child. You see a child on the street smoking, you're beating up that child, and you're taking that child.
You don't even know who the parents are.
You are taking that child to his or her parent to tell them, I saw your child smoking. But nowadays people just go, not my son. No, it should start from there. Every child should be your child, because every girl out there can be your sister, your cousin, your child, or something. So if we say, I heard people say, I heard one man say, thank God say now only boys are born.
Imagine.
I no get girl, and I'm like, your boy can decide to rape a girl tomorrow. If you boy can be raped if you raised him the wrong way. So don't say that rape is not a woman's issue. It is everybody's problem. It is everybody's problem. Before we open up the phone lines, let me say this. We're talking about rape now. If you do not have anything to say, don't call. Don't say.
This is a conversation. This is a conversation around consent. I will talk about consent. We'll talk about consent going forward, because we intend to have every part of this conversation. So we'll talk about consent going forward. But let's talk about how we can help this situation. How we can not help.
how we can totally stop this situation. Is it that we need more legislation that is putting maybe the death penalty on rape?
Of course.
Does it mean that? Is it that we need legislation that is saying, as a girl, I can carry a stun gun, raise it to 300 volts, and shut the life out of you? And I will electrocute you into oblivion. Is that possible? Is it that we need clear legislations on that? Is it that we need the lyrics to actually have services that would down and address
it 100%
and address President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the Office of the National Security Advisor, Defense Headquarters, and other security in Parliament. Before that, too many do know. And let's talk also by Duno, and I had to do that for him because, you know, it's his birthday. The old man is a year older today. Birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you, man.
Yeah, from all of us to you. You know we love Duno's music. Like I was just going through a catalog of his that I had yesterday, and I was just telling myself, like, how does somebody not have a bad song? Duno doesn't have a bad song. Anyways, 20 minutes gone past 2 in the city of Benin. Welcome. We are still here. We decided to drag She Tribe into another hour because we want to really talk about this, and we want to find out what you have to say about this. So the phone lines are open without any further ado. 07062 639275 09039 39427 and 0812 914. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hey, welcome.
All the ladies in the house.
Hi, Ogogo. Good afternoon.
I can hear you. I greet everybody in the house.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I want to meet here is that the penalty that for this should be taken very serious this time ahead. If we can make it a death penalty, I believe it's been going a long way to make everything all right at the moment.
Yeah,
that's just my solution actually.
All right then, thank you. Park New York, amongst one of them, see that if that was a death penalty, 5 boys would have been killed without time for nothing, because at that time, even the now president.
They are to be your sisters, what dating what I've done to you, and most of the time they say the lady is so bad, this one also, but I also tell them that it's not a what you want, not for you to take
really good on some manner of problems.
It is we're talking about issues concerning the women now.
Speak up.
Like since this all comes
out,
a lady this. A lady.
The what? Large part of the problem.
Yes.
A person who asks the question of what was she reason why the next likely happened.
Yes.
Because you are giving the rapist who has just committed that crime the calling from. Your name is
Annie from Ura.
Alright, Annie, go ahead.
Yes. It's a painful situation. Nobody came, the fight, the whole thing I think that did to escape that person.
Wow.
So that's something I should pray for at all.
In Lagos, some girls, I think they were, commercial sex workers or something like that. What it is, they were, but I think they were 2 sisters. They were raped by 2 guys. Yeah, and then they put out. Was yesterday I saw a poem. I saw a poem from someone I know. Who I know says, "Am I sick?" The first line of the poem: "Am I sick to think that I was lucky in an unfortunate situation?"
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yesterday I've been listening to the program and I've been hearing some people saying that it's better to kill them. You know why? Killing them will not even change anything. Make this leave to suffer for what they did. Give them their own medicine. They think
Nobody sabi dodge bullet power, but about God now they run and say in the show mercy to whoever will show mercy to. Baba God, we thank you for the life you give us one more time. Yes, this is now KU 92.7. We sit down back for Bini Auchi Express Road and the program narrated to the Wednesday edition when it come midweek service make we decide. And again, matter will be so one decide today we could sign you. So make you call people, tell them that you need to KU 92.7, may they begin listening to this program will be say it will make sense to them. Well. My name is International Kelly, this is special advisor of the governor on legal marriage and private enjoyment, life nonsense. And I get the man who is happy for the house, a Rosa Adbeka. Rosa, good afternoon.
Kelly Merits, good afternoon. Our people house, I tutorize all of us this afternoon. I greet all of us especially. I believe say yes, no day the goes through where on the 10th day of the month of June, like we did. Just if you look and say the year don't go far, but we just did very soon. Everybody will still get waiting in the time for the second half of the year we did. So if your first half did okay, get ready for the second half, may improve on anything we want to do. Then you'll get the result at the end of the year. So that's what the matter be. So me not put half for joy the way everywhere goes still. No, if you not work, we put effort everywhere goes still like that. So now the advice I will give you because life na sense and school, they go school finish. So every day we learn. Even me, I still learn. So you going to listen to us for you to hit your target, make you wake up and make you prosecute your plans, then you will get the result. That's what the matter be. I greet all of you this beautiful Wednesday afternoon.
Yes, true. That's what the matter be. Make we go use this medium take talk to the family of the Olu Martins. It's the last week Wednesday we moved and talk for phone and TMC that very morning. Last week the family they fought to be the very good friend will be also to be COVID-19 leave. So better to believe because be that and so many about that issue again because the issue we need to really visit because parents get role to play, society get major role to play to help this kind of situations. Things for comment. So some of the people will say yes to look out to take some small people for inside. Some people why some people not rush that beg. Make a young rush go first say because come out for quick and scorers. Other people know do strongest say must enter. And on that matter. Okay,
when it concern the way the HHS services will go. Well, to me, since you don't know, say maybe 3 or 4 services like they did because of the number of people. If, for instance, now I reach church like this, say me I don't see people we don't do, they're now 20. You don't need to tell me say we don't need more than 20. For instance, so except now we say they will need to. People stop. No, see, no, my 20 they come say even when I use to have God pass, this one I will still use sense. Wisdom is prophesy to direct. You understand? Even if Bible say get faith, to overcome everything. As far as sin as something will be say you still no say defeat. If you still go poor and you collect you go still bear because God say make you use your sense.
Make we talk to Daniel. Daniel, now before we enter the school matter, basically just give us more talk on this worship center matter.
The matter, he get as he be. Every Christian and every Muslim don't they eager to go worship God and pray their normal prayer. We understand, we say one thing when they consistent with human being, we sabi adapt. Nobody planned this thing, it just carry come. We don't really exercise a high level of patience. But no be now when you be say we say we won't suddenly won't come to do otherwise. The thing we see for inside we say all these rules and regulations don't put in place now for our betterment. So if it makes sense, say we adopt them, we obey them, we make everything go away. I know say it go hard to adopt. The way this my brother they talk about to the book. So because they don't observe the way people they measure when church they go fit a daily routine. Okay. So we believe say it go do possible.
How you see service this Friday and say for each church or mosque go plenty or go first make a fair wash first?
No, sorry to cut if government say for instance now okay from 20 members now make 100. I don't believe say any right thinking pastor will still say make all the members.
Even as they see say God will help us and go help the leadership of the way say they go. In good moment don't even talk now for stay blessing you come they collect number.
They go make an announcement say okay see the number of people we say go.
Brother, me they not do that. Don't everywhere don't do corruption.
For service.
You know what's happened? Secretary.
If nobody not reach you for first service, not the second service, not be the same.
call. Go say, man, keep number 2, 3. I know this country. They go call. Say, okay, well, they don't see number 2. Don't call say number 5. They don't still pending. What be your take?
The majority of us they do, and I deal with the fee.
Okay.
When we see and we say, we first of all from the beginning appreciate what the government they do. Appreciate all the.
Okay. So one of the things that we do, we don't arrange this human infrared temperature gun. You know, now way back they use all. So that's how we see the plan. We see that we don't play that. Once it come, we will get. But again, I think at school. And let me add my voice for this one. So, I'm going to advise for Kubayi. And we don't try to put measures in place. And they have the people that they talk. So, I don't talk them before. We get many roles to play. Even the type of government. Everybody gets.
Make you talk to us sharp.
Like for me, I say make government, make them try number 1. And school, they may resume. Make them provide house and government for school. Whether na private school, whether na government school. Make them keep the house and government. They pay tax. Private school, they pay tax. School, they assist them. We dey help them, they say house and government. We never fear anyone for anywhere. That's number 1. Number 2, I want make all schools, make them try, make them afford this human infrared temperature gun.
Other people who might not have that, that opportunity to speak out and people will listen to them. But if these guys should come out, that's what he's trying to say, and that's true. Even when it comes to football, sometimes when racism is.
No, it's not saying they've not come out because
they should always.
Many of them is only saying that they don't sometimes appreciate the influence that they have. We know that many of these posters have come out to protest this step.
Yeah, they are so influential when it comes to protesting, honestly, and we've also seen rather the kind of influence they've had this time they come out to speak. But then I think this is something they should do all the time. And apart from athletes coming out, to speak, it all depends on how the society, the governments, how they are going to respond to, what's spoken against, So that's one thing. Yes, it's good for one athlete to come out, okay, for racism that is going on right now. Okay, kick out racism and all that. An athlete will come out and speak against the racism. Then it all depends on the agencies, or rather the people who are involved, to also accept what they are thinking and make changes to it. Sometimes we don't get change. That's the reason why some people will say we'll be talking about it if nobody has done anything. Once you keep on saying
that is why you've got to sustain it, because nobody is going to give it to you. As I say, freedom, everybody desires freedom, but nobody will give you now almost a week the killing of George Floyd. But they've continued. They have continued the test. Why? Because the other 3 officers are still on what happens is they fire them, the solution. They should go to court and what kind of charge? For instance, the on George Floyd, and even the protesters are saying no, we have got to go for first-degree murder in their guidelines of reminding them and maybe even turn it into.
I made mention of, but then I think it's time for that the way they've handled the situation, them solidarity and all that, and trying to let them know that not all officers are bad and all that. They do that. Nobody will have also put it on video and said some time ago and sent a big message, to all the officers, whether black or fair police officer. That is uncalled for. They will never see him again. So the government should also learn. COVID-19 is ravaging the world. The people go back to their place of work and all that, and others are also hijacking the protest or dead. So one must
absolutely nothing wrong with their mental faculties. They just feel they not belong to their group. That we things wrong with the system over here too. All right, let's go to Germany now and talk about Borussia Dortmund. They are forward Jadon Sancho and all weekend. We know that Sancho is an England international. He read Hakimi of justice for Floyd scored a goal. Then we know that some days ago FIFA and competition organizing action against this law, they should apply common sense. They just stop short of telling them. So the German Football Association, they released a statement today. The panel also intends to maintain criticism campaigns to mark the George Floyd that they are not going to take any action against the committee, and I am very happy about it. It's family against all forms of racism and discrimination. These are targeted anti-racism campaigns by leaders which are committed to analyze for. So they are just playing the line for countries.
Different sectors, health sector, this sector, and other sector. You found that.
All right, let's go to Kufm now. American Captain Steve Striker says this year it's supposed to take place in September. You know, the Ryder Cup is. They will decide whether the match will happen at the Whistling Straits in the honor of an event. Yes, of course.
That's kind of a game. So for me, now that it's normal, it should be better for them to have some fun. But golf, they do have to postpone it till when the cup is flattened.
And just coming in, it's breaking news. We understand that to 13 from 5,079 tests. Has something to do with coronavirus. Starting on the 6th of July and the 20th of
either part of a squad going for all this time that has to happen. So I think without this give us the opportunity to also have the chance at
not having anything about, and he had this photo taken with that distance from other companies. This was an Premier League player in contact training. Last month, City defender Kyle Walker was picked up visiting his family in Sheffield earlier, and he faced disciplinary action from Manchester City when he was reported to have posted. He did not tell the government when they were contacted. So the first that every time that what's from. It's not like everybody is coming out all the time to say he's back
holding on to a drink. Okay, usually it's done by people around the block in the neighborhood, people living in housing projects where you call the ghetto. Right, so when they celebrate, sometimes they come out of their apartments and circle in front of their houses, in front of the housing project, and get these dance steps. And at the same time, they have a celebration of some sort. So they have cups in their hands with drinks in it, and they got the toast going. So that's exactly what Cassidy was doing right there, talking about his drink.